there, boys and girls. This is Buckeye Wars. This is little snippets, memories of what it was like for me growing up in El Dorado Hills, California, back in the 70s and the 80s. So, be honest now. Were you afraid of the dark as a kid? Did it bother you? Were you terrified of the dark? Or did you have to sleep with a night light and just shiver under the covers because you were scared? Well, I wasn't really too afraid of the dark inside the house. What scared me was the garage. Because when you turned the lights out, it was dark. Now, our garage was down about 5 steps from the height of the house. And right outside the door, coming off of the dining room, was a wooden steps. Had a rail on it. It was really, really sturdy. And then 4 or 5 steps down to the concrete of the garage floor. And we often would go down those stairs at night to put something in the washer or dryer. We did laundry almost every day. My dad was kind of obsessed with making sure things were clean and that clothes didn't sit in the hamper very long. Anyway, he would be, Bobby, go down and get something out of the dryer. It's ready. And I had to make dang sure that the light was on, because I certainly couldn't walk down the stairs and go get it. And oftentimes it was, at dusk, and there was a little bit of light coming in the window. And, you could see, but not very well. And if that light wasn't on, I was terrified. And my brother knew this, 4 years younger than me. And sometimes he would mess with me, and I'd go down the stairs to go get something out of the dryer, and he'd turn the light off. And I swear to God, I would scream like a little girl. It was just, I couldn't handle it. It was dark. It scared bejesus out of me. Now, my dad, the brilliant man that he is, tried to convince me about the dark. And one day he took me aside, and the two of us went out onto that little landing, I guess, at the top of the stairs. There are only 4 or 5 stairs down to the garage floor, after stepping out of the dining room onto the platform that was the top of the stairs. And it had a rail around it. It was quite safe. And the two of us stepped out onto that little platform, and he reached inside of the house and flipped off the lights and shut the door. And it was dark, pitch black. And the both of us stood there, and he had his arm around my shoulders, and he said, Bobby, I want you to know that it's okay to be afraid. But I also need you to know that when it's dark, nobody can see you. The bad guys can't see you. You can't see them. If they're in the dark, nobody can see each other. It's like you're invisible. And I thought to myself, that kind of makes sense. So it was starting to take away my fear of the dark. But it didn't quite work. I was still pretty afraid of the dark. And then he, I don't know, maybe a month later, because I was better, because I kept thinking about what he had said about in the dark you're invisible. It's a good thing. They can't see you. Bad guys, monsters, whatever you're afraid of, they can't see you because it's dark. But in the back of my head, I thought, oh, wait a minute. I know animals can see pretty good in the dark. So I was still a little bit afraid. So he took me back out onto the landing again about a month later. And this time the light was on. And he said, I'm going to back away a little bit so that you can see what I was doing. He took his hands like this. Can you see that? Kind of like this. And he said some kind of made-up chant. And he said it a couple of times. Dugga, 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 dugga. And then he turned his hand and he went. And what he had done is he had made up a little chant that he taught me that would scare away the evil spirits, the monsters, the bad guys, and so forth. And that little chant gave me the confidence to, number one, the bad guys can't see me when it's dark. And number two, if I'm still feeling apprehensive about going out into the dark, I could use this little chant and go through and it gave my head the confidence I needed to overcome my fear of the dark. Thank you, Dad. Absolutely wonderful man.